Hello, you're listening to Questboard, and it's been 2 whole years. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Tiffany. And we are not going to go through the whole disclaimer today because I don't feel like it.
The disclaimer of us not going over a disclaimer.
Yeah, the disclaimer that we are not. I don't want to say it. We're not professionals. I don't want to be a professional.
We're already getting tired. It took 2 whole years.
2 whole years?
And I'm sure you guys have noticed already. We've talked about it before, though. I'm sure you noticed the new lovely artwork we have.
Ta-da!
If you're on YouTube, it's on the screen right now. Or if you're listening through Spotify or anything, that's the cover art when you selected the episode. I think we've talked about it multiple times. We've been teasing or leading up to this. We're doing a new fresh coat of paint.
Yeah.
I went on Fiverr and I found an amazing artist.
So good.
Sorry, I forgot his name because it was just a random username. But yeah, I showed him our old one as like, hey, can you just make a new illustration based off of this? Something we want a new look, an updated look. Yeah. With a couple of like small tweaks that we've made during the process and
a couple of Easter eggs.
Yeah, a couple of Easter eggs. The chicken could be 2 things.
I love the chicken.
I requested because it was a missing cat poster I think he originally put.
Yeah.
And I'm like, make that a chicken.
Yeah.
Because we did a quest on that. And then there was a wanted poster. I'm like, oh, you gotta make that a leprechaun.
Oh yeah.
That's old episode.
Oh yeah.
And if you are listening to this and all that stuff, if you go on our socials, Butterfly, it's a logo, there's a butterfly, Blue Sky or X, we have our new logo.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I want to point that out is because the seal on that leprechaun is our logo. I specifically asked for that, and I think it looks great. It turned out amazing.
It did. It really did. Super thankful for that.
And sadly, artists are expensive.
Yes.
They're pricey. But I'm like, now that we have that, I feel like I need to, after I save up some money, I'm going to go to him again for our Questober artwork.
Yeah, that needs
so I'm gonna be
love.
like, hey, remember this poster you made of us? We love it and all that stuff. Can you make a creepy version?
Yes.
And so I'm gonna probably go to him again. And so you guys will see that for Questober. Hopefully I'm sure it'll look great.
Oh yeah. A little bit of background on that. I actually don't remember if we talked about this in our first anniversary episode. The Questober art and stuff, yeah, that was just me editing the artwork we already had.
Yeah, we photoshopped over.
Slightly spookier. And so the reason it's so amateurly done is because I'm not a professional. I just know a little bit of Photoshop.
Well, I think it was because you did start the YouTube stuff and you're like, oh, do you want us to put something different for the October things?
Yeah, it was like a last minute.
It was very much a last minute because we didn't even do it for the podcast episode releases, the Spotify releases or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The audio releases, that should be the term.
Ah, yes.
And so, yeah, you made that in 10 minutes and I helped out with some lighting things.
Right.
But we made that in 10, 15 minutes and then you upload the video on YouTube.
Yeah, it wasn't much effort.
So,
and it shows.
Hopefully, I'm sure what the artist, the illustrator is going to make is going to be awesome. And it'll actually look like it was made to be spooky.
Because he's actually a professional. He does that for a living. So.
Right. I don't know if it's a full-time job, but I'm pretty sure. He had I was in a queue.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
a sign of actually a good artist. And I'm sure you noticed the other thing at the start of this episode, we have a new intro.
Yeah, new music.
Again, full coat, new coat, new intro, everything like that.
We didn't change us though.
Because I know that in our original intro, I quickly made.
Yep.
At the start of the podcast. And I thought the initial thought was if the listeners are imagining they're going into a tavern and then seeing the community board and seeing the job postings.
Yeah.
And that was the original thought of the podcast.
Right.
But over the 2 years now, I feel like we've added a lot more things than just a community board posting.
We branched out.
We've made characters. We've made scenarios where not exactly you got it through a job posting board.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like maybe we should skew away from that and make something more unique.
Right.
And I think it turned out amazing.
I really enjoy it.
We kind of forgot to give credit. You can find other works from the creator on Bandcamp under the username Sonorous. That's SONDOROUS. And if you want to hire them for a commission, you could send an email to sonorousmusic@gmail.com. Anyways, that is it for the lovely new things that we are now implementing for the start of year 3. I think we need to start looking back and seeing how our the past year has been.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest change we've had was talking to other people.
Other people than just each other. It's like,
yes,
we talk to each other enough. Maybe branch out.
Yeah, we went for a full year of being in this echo chamber that is the room in the house I'm living in to talking to people online and our friends. But it all started with of Metal Magic. You were the one, I think we talked about, you're the one who came across them on Pinterest.
Yep, I was just scrolling through Pinterest. I'm like, oh, that is so cool. It's like a fully realized flyer that you can put on a quest board. You could print it out and just hand it to your people. It's like, it's so well done. And then I kind of started seeing more of them popping up, as is the nature of Pinterest. You click on one thing, you get a million more similar. And then just through rabbit trailing, found their webpage and realized this is a legit thing. It's so cool.
Yeah, it was great because like we messaged them. They said, yeah, sure, let's totally do it.
Yeah.
And so, God, it was iWarforge.
Yeah.
That was episode 65,
Good
where we
times.
just made a sentient Warforge.
Yeah.
The first sentient one, if you remember.
Right. It was the first one to really
Have
gain
a
a
conscience.
mind.
Yeah. Be independent. Then we had what I consider one of the funniest ones, where is Los Apsos.
Losta Opsos.
Whatever. About just fighting over dogs.
Yeah.
And that was the funniest twist ever. Slight spoilers.
Spoiler
I just
alert,
realized
it's
that.
dogs. If you didn't already know about that breed of dog, like that, knowing that breed of dog would kind of give away the twist.
I mean, to be fair, this is for DMs anyways.
That's fair. Yeah, true.
5 Stages of Rage, that is one of my favorite ones.
That was a good one.
Because that was like, we went with a dark story on that.
Yeah, that one came out pretty deep.
Yeah, I feel like that was like very philosophically deep of just like representations, even though I'm sure we said in the episode, the party's never going to like get this. But
if they
for
do,
us,
but what if they do?
It was purely for the DM side of just like having something like this created with such a deep, dark, deep meaning of like getting over grief is so satisfying.
Yeah.
As like a writer sense. Anyways.
As you can see, we still really like that episode because we're still just like, oh yeah, that came out good.
Then was Dude, Where's My Wagon? Where it was the wagon that
oh right, the one that drove itself away. It
was kind of funny, but I was like, out of all the of Metal Magic ones we did, that was my least favorite.
Because it was just physics?
Because it was just the car just pushed it. Nothing happened.
Yeah, it just rolled seemingly uphill, but due to optical illusion, it was actually downhill.
Yeah, it was just like that sort of blunt, like
yeah,
anticlimactic ending, which is funny if the party overreacts to it, but to come up with something like that,
it's not as interesting.
For me, as like trying to come up with a story on itself,
it was more fun coming up with all of the villagers in town being like, oh, I totally saw this happen.
Oh yeah, that's what we came up with. Then we asked of Metal Magic for a spooky one, and then we made Fatal Pages,
and they delivered.
I still want to like make that into a campaign.
That would be neat.
I have created like an internal campaign idea based off of that one.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'll ever use it. Like a lot of the things I say on this podcast that, I can make a campaign out of.
Well, hey, so far being in a campaign that you are currently running, I'm excited for anything you come up with.
Oh yeah, that's a creepy campaign, but it's independent.
Yeah, and you keep scaring the crap out of me.
And then finally we did one last one during October. Was that in October?
Now I don't remember.
Anyways, it was episode 97. Fred went down to Georgia.
Yeah.
That one was interesting. I think it was It was simple, but just demons stuck in a musical box and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was really great to listen to, like, give prompts from, because I think we said multiple times the way that of Metal Magic just makes these, and like I would never had the thought of making these kind of prompts as posters,
Right?
and they're so uniquely weird and different.
And all the work that goes into them. And like, there's multiple different poster styles, different handwriting. Some of them are even black and white, just for an aesthetic pleasing thing. Some of them have pictures.
Yeah. Also, I decided to message of Metal Magic for their little quote, and I would like to read it to you, Tiffany, because I already read it. Tiffany has not heard it yet.
I'm excited.
So this is from Ty of Metal Magic. Getting to listen to Questboard team puzzle out how to best build a quest from my notice board posters has been such an incredibly entertaining experience. Most often, I'll just get comment of which postings people like, or a small idea of how they might tackle it for some people. And very rarely I'll hear how it actually gets implemented, so listening to the process is phenomenal and gratifying. The whole point of the posters is to put less work on the GMs while maintaining creative freedom. And this podcast is such a perfect accompaniment to that. I can't wait to see what you both come up with next.
Aww. That's so sweet. I absolutely love working with Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything they come up with is just a masterpiece every time. I'm just excited and honored that he agreed to work with us.
Yeah. And we're going to be doing a bunch more this year.
Oh, yeah. We're not done yet.
And so after we did that whole thing with Metal Magic, we're like, who else can we actually talk to?
Yeah. We're like, do we have any other friends that could help? Well, I am chronically on Pinterest. It's one of my favorite places to look up information. And I found someone else. Their name actually gave me pause for a second because it took me a minute to actually parse it out because it's all one word, rolling at 20.
Oh, that's a standard, usernames where there's multiple words and they can't have spaces.
Right. I fully understand it, but when it's all one word, it's hard to read sometimes.
Oh.
But I was very excited when I saw these because I'm like, oh, this is exactly what we're looking for. This is exactly what we need to work with. And I reached out to them through Instagram, and they responded almost instantly saying, yes, we'd absolutely love to work with you. So now we have 2 creators out there who come up with these beautiful prompts, and I'm so excited to start working with Rolling at 20 more.
Yeah, we did the 1 episode so far this year.
Yes,
we talked to him late in the year.
Yes, yeah, it's a new thing, so we're still
episode 95, Village We Lost in the Fire.
Yeah, that first one ended up being a little dark.
It was good though, because I felt like that should have been a Questober.
It totally should have been.
But it was just so weird that we based it off of one quote I heard that I misquoted, because when I was editing that episode, I looked up the actual thing and I was like, oh, I've misquoted it, but it was somewhat the same, because it was actually a quote from or a proverb or a saying in Africa. But I was like, oh, we misquote. It's based off of a quote that I misquoted, and the fact that it's Tasha's His Laughter, and we just made it very dark and depressing.
Yeah.
And I remember in the episode we were like, this is not a good first impression on Rolling at 20.
But they loved it. They're actually okay with the dark tones and things. And I actually have a note from Rolling at 20 as well.
No.
As an avid lover of tabletop RPGs and a proud forever DM, I am always excited to hear the joy and enthusiasm that comes from people who share my passions. This podcast has that welcoming vibe of hanging out with your friends who all love role-playing, while also providing you with some great insights and ideas to bring back to your table. I've been honored to have the chance to collaborate with you guys, and it's always a joy to listen to you. Happy anniversary, and here's to many more years to come.
Aw.
Yeah, I thought it was really sweet.
I feel like we're going to kill each other before the many more years to come.
If the podcast ends, that means one of us got the other.
We finally had that duel.
Yeah. I feel like we're pretty evenly matched.
No, I feel like I will win.
I feel like
actually
I could
depends
take
on
you.
the fight.
Yeah, it depends on the method of fight.
To be fair, though, I would always suggest a flintlock pistol duel because I'm old-fashioned.
Ah, yes, and I'm a sharpshooter.
Have you ever fired a gun?
Not an actual gun, no.
So I'm one up on you on that.
You're
slightly.
one up on me on actually shooting guns, but I do have a decent eye for actually shooting things.
I just had this thought. For people who don't know what we look like, we both wear glasses.
Yeah, that's fair. Granted, though, I only wear the glasses to avoid the migraines. I still have 20/20 vision without them.
Fine. You're one up on me on that.
Little insight into that.
I can't say that for me because I actually need prescription.
Their prescription.
So we had those collaborations. We do have somewhat of another collaboration. We just never put his content on our stuff.
Right. So we actually did attempt to record an episode with him here. Oh, we're talking about a good friend of ours, but his user ID is Sizzlesaur.
Yeah, he's on Twitch.
Yeah, he's on Twitch. He's a Minecraft player. He's a close friend of ours. We both know him. And he was a little too, he didn't want to record. Like, he was accommodating in that he was going to try, but it was just a little too much. He's never recorded something like this before. So,
Yeah.
Anxiety is a thing. We fully understand.
So instead we played The Witch is Dead.
Yeah, instead we played a game, and we ended up helping him with some world building over on his Twitch channel.
Yeah. So we did like one live stream with him where we're in a call and we're just trying to come up with like the lore of his new world. And last time I talked to him about it, he was being distracted by a bunch of holiday stuff, so he didn't get a chance to develop his hardcore world.
Yeah, that has happened. I've actually seen it since then, though. It's really fleshing out and looking super cool.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't watch Twitch that often, so I don't get a chance to actually check out his streams.
I tune in every now and then and check up on him and see how he's doing and say hi to all of his fans.
Well, if you're one of his fans that actually started listening to us, hi.
Hi, guys. Remember me? I'm Tiffany. Or as you may know me on his Twitch channel, Madam Buffalo.
Oh, you're willing to toss out your username?
Yeah, because whenever he sees me on there, he's like, oh, hi, Tiffany.
No.
Yeah. It's kind of confusing because he actually has another fan whose user ID is Tiffers.
None of you know my Twitch username.
None of you
I'm
will.
silent. I am the knight. Anyways, so yeah, we didn't exactly did any of our episodes with him, but it was still a collaboration and something new we tried this year.
Yeah.
So might as well mention it.
Might as well give him a shout out. And if you are interested in Minecraft hardcore play, go check out Sizzlesaur.
Yeah. Another like bigger leap we did was actually having a third person on.
Yeah, that's fun.
Because for like behind the scenes things, that's a separate audio track. And that made things a lot more complicated on my end when it comes to editing and all that stuff.
He's our sound guy. I just sit here.
Because this room is small. It's not a large room we're in.
Yeah.
So adding a third mic
Mm-hmm.
just creates a lot more reverb or pickup on other things or on the other mics and made it so much worse.
We need to put more foam on the walls. Let's make it a full padded room.
Yeah. And you have to wear straitjackets in order to come in.
Hey, it's like a big hug.
But our first guest was Hannah.
Yep.
In which we did that for
A beautiful knoll.
yeah, for her birthday.
Yes,
It
that
was
was her
like
birthday
roughly the
episode.
time of her birthday or whatever, or something.
Roundabouts.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why we tried to convince her.
Well, yeah, because the first time we had any content whatsoever to do with her was also for her birthday when she submitted a prompt for us. And this time we're like, let's one up that and just bring her on the show.
I think it was also because we were talking about like how to expand our show even further,
Yeah.
like having a third mic and seeing how that will work. So she was kind of the guinea pig of like working with a third person,
Right.
And having a third mic and all that stuff.
Since we both kind of already know her pretty well, it was really easy to just kind of fall into, the friendliness of just chatting, coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
I already do that with her a lot.
A Beautiful No was a funny episode
It was great.
because that one just went over smoothly. It flowed really well. There wasn't really much, I don't know, I'm stumped or anything like that.
It really helps having a third brain on the topic. Like, you and I will go back and forth, and when we both would like stall out, Hannah would chime in with an idea. So it kind of helps.
Funny enough, there's a coworker I talk about this podcast to.
Yeah.
He has listened to one episode, and it was this one.
Nice.
Because I know he listened to it because he told me like one thing I said and he thought it was funny. But he's like, you should have Hannah on more often. And I keep telling him because he's like twice my age or something like that. I'm like, you need to listen to the other episodes in order to determine if having Hannah is better or worse. Listen to our other stuff first. But he won't. And so jokingly enough, back in December, I was like, hey, there's another episode coming out with Hannah in it. To convince that's the only way to get him to actually listen to our stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
Which leads into our 100th episode.
Yeah.
Which that was a whole thing.
Questmas Elves. That was fun.
Oh my God.
It's the first time.
Most of the episode was combat. I've learned a lot from that.
It's the first time we've done like live role play, like live play D&D.
That and like me doing like extra editing work with like
you did a lot
the walkie-talkies, the ice elemental voice and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which I screwed up on some things in my opinion.
It's a learning experience.
Yes, and the difference for like flow in actual play D&D on podcast form.
Right.
Because that combat was way too long in my opinion, and I feel like could have been like slimmed down or like something could have been done because I think that was like too boring in my opinion.
I enjoyed listening to it.
But yeah, that's just my opinion and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys I told you guys afterwards, like you and Hannah afterwards, of what my plot was, and you guys just completely ignore it.
That's how D&D works.
I know. I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed. But yeah, I learned a lot about that. That was a long, grueling edit because of all the extra effort I wanted to put into it because it was our 100th episode.
Woo!
But yeah, besides Hannah, we did have one other guest.
Yeah.
My friend Tyler, who is still our only Call of Cthulhu expert.
Hey, he's the only one I know.
I don't know if you knew anyone else.
Nope.
He's the only one for me. That was the Questober Cult of the Carnival.
Yeah, that one turned out creepy.
With puppets and meat puppets. I think that's what we came up with, yeah.
Yeah, we had regular puppets and meat puppets.
And the regular puppets had souls in them, and the meat puppets were...
the bodies that the souls were from.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if we actually fully, like, honored Call of Cthulhu or not. Because we were asking someone of advice, and he would say something like, let's just make this unique and do this, which came out great.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it actually follows lore or not.
It's unique, it's special, it's your own story. The rules are more like guidelines anyway, right?
Sure. Okay, Captain Jack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think he says that in the movies.
No, Barbossa says that.
Oh, it was Barbossa. Anyways. I did send a text to Tyler and asked if he wanted to provide a quote.
Aw.
And so he does. He says, seeing in on the episode of Questboard was great. They're welcoming to a tabletop RPG newcomer like me. The show gives fun and easy ways to get set up some different stories and get your creative juices flowing. Now, there's a ton of content usable over multiple TTRPG platforms with such diverse topics base that there's something for everyone.
Aw, sweet.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'll invite him again.
Oh, yeah.
He's very busy, and he works at like a night shift while we're day shift people.
And he has a kid.
Yeah, so it's hard to exactly get him in.
Oh, yeah. But
he's too busy for us.
But we'll definitely, give out the invitation to him and Hannah again.
Yeah. If we ever feel like we want a third person, or if you're ever gone.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about how you're going to go to Japan and all that stuff.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
That might be a time period where I'm just like, let's see if I could get other people on.
Yeah, bring on special guests.
We will see.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little teaser for next year if that actually goes through.
Yeah.
But
the episodes to come.
I think that's all the like big things that we've done this year. Besides that stuff, do you have any favorites or least favorites? Like, now we just talk about whatever episode we want.
Right. I actually really enjoyed writing lots of opsos. I know we already mentioned it, but just, I don't know, coming up with the sheer audacity of these two people fighting so wholeheartedly over dogs.
Oh, you know what I
as if they
forgot
were
to
their own
say
children.
earlier?
Oh, what?
For this episode specifically, I will always remember this.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, I was pissed because I came up with the perfect name for it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But it was the fact that it was only perfect if it was cats instead of dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in the episode we start with cats, but then we move to dogs because dog owners are act more like parents than cat owners.
Not as much. Like, there are cat owners that do act more like parents too, but dog owners, it's a whole different animal
breed.
there. Yeah, literally.
Yeah. But the name of it was going to be parental rights or parental dispute. That's
parental dispute with purr.
And I was like,
too
I was
perfect.
so mad the rest of that day because I think that was the last thing we recorded that day. And I was so mad at the rest. I'm like, this would have been the perfect title, but I can't use it.
Perfect, you say?
I can't roll my R's. Yeah, I remember that I forgot to talk about that.
I remember when the moment you came up with that, you were just instantly angry about it. And I was actually mad as well because I'm like, oh, that would have been perfect. Why didn't we stick with cats?
But dogs did
really work.
More sense in that story case.
And I have a history with Los Apsos because we used to have one. And I know that they are really high maintenance to keep their coats all nice and fancy.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a breed until that episode.
Of course, the one we had bit everybody. Little butt.
You know what was funny? I forgot that this was this year, but you got mail, the first one of year 2, where it was the lich that was full of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Damien, I believe we called him.
I think he was Damien, yeah.
In which we're like, oh yeah, we can make it, like, just keep pestering him, putting him in other quests and all that. We did not do that at all.
Was it Damien or Dorian?
Oh, it was Dorian because we were basing it off similar
Dorian
off his hand mirror or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've mentioned him in passing since then.
Only like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, not much. We haven't actually put him in an episode, even though we totally said we would. And
yeah,
still
that was a funny thing.
To just have him like
put
in the background.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
But it was just something we're like, oh, we're gonna definitely like keep referencing him in the Questboard Cinematic universe. And we never did because we have horrible memory and we forgot about him. And yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonder I remember to put pants on in the morning.
Thank you for doing that this time.
You're welcome.
Besides that, oh God, I see it on our list. My least favorite.
Mine too, actually. That was rough.
We talked about it in the episode, and I will still go by what I said, like the episode after or something like that. We get 1 a year.
Yeah.
First year was Tin Pot.
We don't need to talk
about
it anymore.
Year 2 is the Four Stooges.
Mm.
I'm going to say as a quick like Tin Pot thing, the comedic duo.
Mm-hmm.
It was just not good for us to write something about because it's pure improv or whatever.
Right. It's heavily reliant on player input. So what are we going to do?
But to be fair, we had that. I forget what other episodes, but we had another episode where it was like, oh, this is super heavily player reliant.
Yeah.
But we were still able to structure it in a way that we were still satisfied with. This one, we couldn't structure it in a way that we liked at all.
We were just not in the right brain space to come up with that kind of information. Like we could not think of, what was it? Think of something funny or...
I think it was something funny because it was a comedy musical. Duo.
Yeah, and they were looking for funny stories from adventuring and stuff. It's like
inspiration for the the brother because it was siblings or whatever.
Yeah, and he wanted to like help his brother without his brother knowing. But yeah, that was rough. It was really hard to come up with like the scenarios surrounding it for the players to give their things.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, you know what was also a funny one? You remember episode 66? It was a party starter scam likely.
Yeah.
Because it was I think we were joking around that you just make a party of Karens because they went to complain. And I remember, I think I told you, like, talked to you outside of the podcast afterwards. I'm like, I have a character idea now, which was a Oath of Vengeance paladin who wanted to go had a bad customer experience, and the vengeance is to go and finally speak to corporate manager
Mm-hmm.
in like some other faraway place because this is a chain, just to complain and get that person fired, and that's their entire like oath of vengeance. And so they got power from a god because of that vengeance.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that was a funny character idea, and that was because of this episode.
Yeah. It's funny how something like that can just stem an entire idea, like birth an entire character.
Well, that's one of the things. Is just a seed of inspiration could result in random things or interesting things to different people.
And that's what I love about the imagination. So which one was your favorite episode? Did we go over that?
They're all my favorite except for one. No, I'm just kidding.
Typical all-encompassing answer.
I'm like a true parent. You're all my favorite.
Except you.
I think except for the redhead stepchild of the Four Stooges, yes. I think 5 Stages of Rage was really good and really stuck with me.
Oh, yeah. That one definitely came out good.
I really liked Fatal Pages.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm just stating our of Metal Magic ones.
I did that too.
The most one of the recent ones. The Party's Excellent Adventure.
Ooh, that one's fun.
Because it was like time traveling or just butterfly effects. And I really liked the thought of butterfly effect.
Yeah, it's always a neat concept.
The fact that you could change things and like the party could screw up even more.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of thought process on the DM's part.
Yes.
It's a lot of extra work.
Mm-hmm.
But the concept of it is very interesting to me because something that could be done as going into the past or changing an event in the past, thinking that it's for the better, could lead to something worse.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because of the thought of, you know how like people ask, oh, do you have any regrets in life, or if you could change one thing in your past?
Right.
I genuinely don't like to say that I want to change anything.
Right.
Because I know that, yes, my life could be better by me winning the lottery, but it could be a lot worse.
Right.
And so if I change one thing, that could be a cascading thing to where my life won't like be what it's like now.
Right.
And me not meeting the people that I know or whatever, this or that, I don't want to lose that. So then I don't want to change anything.
Right. Because every decision, every interaction you've had up until now has led you to be the person you are.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know about you, I'm okay with the person I am. I don't want to change anything.
Except for winning the lottery, but yeah.
I mean, sometimes that's actually not the greatest because the taxes they pull out of that is never fun.
Yes.
And then all of your family members come around asking for handouts.
Oh, I could say no to them. I could easily say no to them.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of weird things that happen to people that win the lottery.
Well, there's a lot of stupid people who don't know how to manage money, but this is not a podcast about that.
Nope.
What about you? What is your favorite one?
I already
Besides
said it was
Lost Apsos.
I already said it was lots. Okay. The real question is, which ones do I remember? Because I have an absolutely horrible memory.
Me looking over this list, we were jumping around a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Me looking over this list, episode 88, Banquets, Ballrooms, and Butlers. Funny story about that one is we had 2 names for this, for the title.
Was fun.
And we might do that again occasionally. I think we did that for a different one. But we had 2 names and we were like, okay, we were fine with that. Also, this was an episode where it's just like, he was allergic to things and then, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing happened quest.
Yeah.
We made another one of those. But this one, we had between this name and we had Banquet Nightmares as well as, because this is a play off of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yep.
And the other one was Kitchen Nightmares.
Yep.
And so we were like, both were equally good in our eyes.
Right. We couldn't
decide.
So
we started calling our friends and family.
Yep. I even called my sister.
In which you're like, hey, without any context of the episode or anything like that, because most people who see an episode like that won't get any context anyways.
Right. You're just going off the title.
So we asked, and the vast majority chose this one over the...
My sister chose the other one. She was the only one who did.
Was she the only one?
Yes. Everyone else wanted this one.
And so we went with that one, and that's how we chose that title.
That was really fun. And everyone was like, okay, I guess I'll choose this one.
I would say, do you remember? Because I remember it was Good Night, Sweet Princess was the other one, episode 93. but I forgot what the other title was.
I didn't even remember that it was that episode that we did that with, so I don't remember what the other option was. As soon as it didn't get chosen, it got deleted.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with a die because she died.
What?
Like it was a play off of the word dice.
Dice to meet you?
Maybe? I can't remember.
I don't know.
It's been a long time. But the other one was older, but I remember that one. So
I guess it stuck with us more.
yeah.
Well, it was also the first time we did that.
Yeah. I also the voting thing was over Discord. It wasn't us calling people.
Right.
So
right.
I feel like that was also disconnect as well. I had to look it up. The other title was Dice Hard with a Vengeance, which looking back, Goodnight Sweet Princess was a way better title. Anything else?
No, I don't have much else. Just that it's been another good year. I'm having a blast, and I look forward to making more.
Well, I do too. Also, and since we're done with like just recapping over episodes, do you remember any editing jokes?
A few here and there. Once again, my memory, the worst.
I don't remember as many editing jokes as the previous year. So I'm trying to remember.
I know you've thrown in a couple of sound effects here and there.
Oh, there was one where it's like tea time with Tiffany.
Oh, yeah.
We have that intro.
You made that little jingle. That was fun.
Yeah, I did that. What episode was that from?
Oh, I do not remember. I was just talking about what tea I was drinking that day. Because, I can't remember if I said this in the first anniversary. I usually have a cup of tea sitting next to me. Oddly enough, I don't today. I have a cup of soda because I needed more caffeine. But I usually make a cup of tea. I have it sitting on a little warming pad and just sip on it every now and then.
Oh, God. I suddenly remembered one. These are all the recent ones, though, because that's what I remember.
Most recent.
I had the hardest time editing Fred Went Down to Georgia. Because if you remember, that was when in the middle of the episode, you're like, pull up this YouTube video for the speaking notes thing.
Oh, right.
So that made the auditory illusion.
Those are crazy.
And so I had the toughest time with that transition because I didn't want to do our usual swoop sound effect because that's usually, hey, editing in some note or something and then a swoosh back into the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But then I know how to transition, showing time has passed so that the audience could recognize it without like disrupting anything. And I couldn't play any music because it was talking about music being played to like sound like notes or it sound like talking. So I couldn't play any transitionary music. So it was extremely hard for me. And I had like one thing down and then you didn't like it.
Sorry.
So then you had the idea of just like doing the sometime later. And so I made you record you saying it. And then I just used that.
Yeah.
And just doing the swoop in sometime later, swoop back into the episode.
And
then we went with that.
Yep.
That was a pain.
Most of my edit jokes are visual ones on YouTube videos. So if you only listen to the audio
format
of
this, any that you remember?
Well, I know there is somewhere, there was an episode, I don't know if it's more recent or if it's one of the older ones, where I flubbed what I was saying. I stuttered, and it sounded exactly like Porky Pig. So I just like kind of showed his face for a second in an episode.
Yeah, and I think it was Fred Went Down to Georgia where because it was musical puns and you did the Bach.
Yeah, Bach.
And then I remember you showed me of a picture of Bach and just like keeps appearing every time you said it.
Because every time we say Bach, I just show Bach on the screen because he's just popping around. It's Bach. He's Bach.
Yeah, that was a funny edit. I suddenly remembered one. I cannot remember which episode it is because it was a very random thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I will tell you, most of the time, we just record our stuff, I edit in like gaps or like gross sounds that we make with our mouth.
Yeah, like this. No, I'm not going to make a gross sound for you to edit out.
Or has it already been edited out?
You'll never know.
Anyways, genuinely, I do not record over things or anything like that unless I, edit it,
Right.
But there was one time I said like, yeah, or something, but the audio didn't come out right. and I just cut it out and I put myself saying, yeah, and then post it in, acting like it was just me in the moment.
And we will never know which
If you could
yeah
find
that
it, because
was.
I don't even remember which one it was.
Wow. I
There
never
is
noticed that
one somewhere in this year. I remember that I did that once.
Yeah.
And only once, but I do not remember where it was because it was just a confirming like, oh yeah, kind of thing. Like I was just agreeing with whatever you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that is somewhere in this.
Man, you were so lucky. If I mess up a word, you just got to deal with it because I'm not here to re-record it while you're editing.
Well, if it was big enough that I feel like it should have been done, I would have actually asked you to either come in or postpone the editing until you came in for the next, like us recording episodes or whatever.
Right.
And then ask you for an audio sample. Or I would have grabbed a previous time you said yeah or something if it was something small, and I would have moved it over, copied and moved it over.
Well, I never noticed if you ever did that, so.
I might have done that once. I don't think so, though.
Wow, you're getting so much better at editing. I'm so proud of you.
Of grabbing just a previous time you said and then just put it in there. Thanks for the audio sample.
You're welcome. But yeah, I've been trying to do a little bit more like visual editing on the YouTube videos, especially if we actually reference editing Tiffany. Hi, editing Tiffany. Because
Well, you want me to say hi? No.
No, I said hi to myself. It's fine. I love myself. But yeah, no, I've been trying to make it, a little bit more interesting visual. I know it's a static image until randomly something pops up, but just something interesting. And if you've just been, listening to YouTube videos on in the background, joke's on you. You've been missing out on random stuff that pops up every now and then.
It'd actually be funny if someone actually listens to the YouTube stuff but puts it on the side and does not notice. Because it's random episodes. It's not like it's not consistent.
I just prompted them to go back and look right now.
It's either that or they're just too lazy.
I'm lazy, so I fully understand that.
Well, anyways, is that it? Do we have anything else to talk about for our second year?
No, I can't really think of anything. Just, once again, excited to be here.
You sound like it.
I'm just happy to be here.
No, it's just weird to see a long list of episodes and realize, oh my God, I did that all in the previous year.
Right? That's a lot of episodes.
Yep. Every week, every Sunday for 2 whole years. We have not missed a date yet.
Booyah.
And so we will see what year 3 will actually entail.
Yay.
More collaborations.
Definitely.
More working with other people, maybe.
For sure.
Hopefully.
I want to.
Well, they also have to say yes. We need that consent.
That's fair. That's fully understandable.
They might listen to a couple episodes like, nah.
Not for me, which is also okay.
So, if you actually have been listening to all of our stuff until now, we thank you.
Thank you so much.
If this is your first episode, interesting, but
thanks for listening. We've got more.
Everything is independent, so you don't have to listen to everything. We appreciate if you listen to everything, but you don't have to.
And you don't have to listen to it in any order other than the order you choose.
Most of our stuff don't connect.
Except for the ones that do. There is a part 2 out there.
Yeah, that was year 1, though.
Yeah.
We don't talk about year 1. It's too far in the past.
You mentioned a leprechaun.
True, but that was about our artwork.
Yeah, I know.
And that's year 3. But anyways, thank you so much for listening to this. And we will still continue making things until, like I said, one of us finally wins the duel. But if you want to tell us your favorite memories or favorite moments, if you say a quote, I don't know if I actually said it or not. I'm very bad at remembering what I said exactly. So
same.
Give us out of context quotes. That's funny. And then we'll try to guess who said it.
Ooh, there we go.
Please include an answer. Like do the whole for like YouTube comments where you show it and it says show more. Hide whoever said it in the show more kind of thing. That'd be fun.
That would be a fun game.
We could record an extra episode just for that game.
Yeah, who said this quote?
You have 104 episodes to go off of. I'm sure you'll find something. But if you want to just say your favorite episode, favorite moments, any ideas that you came up with based off of our stuff.
Or if you have a new quest for us.
Or if you want to just do the usual new quest for us to use or anything like that. Or people you would think would love to collaborate with us. I love ideas on that. You could let us know down in the comments of this YouTube video. You could let us know on X at questboardpod or on Blue Sky at questboard. I think with that, I wish you all a good night.
And happy questing.